Douglas Cooling and Heating, serving the Birmingham area for 38 years. 988-3706. That's Douglas.
Weather Xtreme video for Friday, June the 3rd. I'm meteorologist Brian Peters, and we'll take a look at some Skycam imagery. But before we start, how about a shot of Ruby Falls? Yeah, did the tourist thing around Chattanooga yesterday and enjoyed the cave and also the falls, which was lighted with fancy illumination and sure came out ruby colored. How about some Skycam imagery? There's a look at Birmingham's camera this morning, and we can see the sun rising in the east and a little bit of haze. Summertime haze just stays with us. There's a look from Cheehaw as we look down the spine of the Appalachians. And then how about one more shot a little further south? The sun coming up past the water tower as we look out from Prattville. On our surface map this morning, we're still dealing with surface high pressure as well as the upper ridge that's just staying with us. And in the upper atmosphere, you can see that ridge centered from, basically, you might say kind of along the Mississippi River, north to south. And of course, that ridge responsible for a great deal of heat across the southern part of the United States and also into the central plain states, with 60-degree values getting all the way up into the eastern part of North and South Dakota, as well as into a little bit of Canada. The only cool temperatures really in the Rockies, where actually there are a few values actually below freezing, which that sounds pretty good when we've been setting record highs, which we set again yesterday. Temperatures across central Alabama generally running in the lower and mid 70s. We got 72 at Anniston and 75 at Birmingham, 77 down at Dadeville or Alex City, and 70 up at Muscle Shoals. QPF, not much forecast for the next 5 days, as it looks like we're going to stay in a rather hot and humid pattern with the upper ridge in place, and that's going to keep us pretty well dry with only the possibility of isolated showers each day. And of course, when we have those isolated showers, some of those could be strong. There is the day one outlook from the Storm Prediction Center. We had one shower yesterday afternoon in the vicinity of Tuscaloosa that downed a couple of trees and produced some hail. Day two, of course, the main storm track still across the northern tier of the United States. Day two, we have a slight risk stretching from western Pennsylvania, all the way across Ohio, Illinois, Indiana, into northern Missouri, and a little bit of southeast Nebraska, as well as northwest Kansas. In the tropics, the National Hurricane Center is watching two areas, one over the Caribbean. That one has some potential for development, not in the next 48 hours, but after that the upper level winds become a little more favorable for possible slow development. And then we're also watching a little area in the southwest Gulf of Mexico, but that area actually looks like it's moving into an area with pretty hostile winds. Now, why are we getting thunderstorms with the upper ridge? Well, the primary reason is the lapse rate. Look at the change in temperature from the ground up to just a little below 500 millibars, and look how steep that is. So it's allowing, with the heat of the day, showers, isolated showers to develop, and if they do develop, they could be strong, and it looks like we're going to stay in that kind of downburst environment potential for the next few days to as much as a week. Here's the 06Z GFS model run, and we'll stick with the upper air pattern for the most part, simply because that pretty much tells the story. There's our ridge today, and there's the ridge tomorrow, getting a little bit stronger, centered over the mid-south in the vicinity of Memphis and Little Rock with the 594 contour. So definitely a lot of heat across the southeastern U.S. We see the 594 contour weaken just a bit, or go away actually, and so the ridge weakens just a little bit. It also noses back toward the west. So the result is a little less of an influence, but still we're going to be under that influence. We can see that it does retrograde just a little bit, and the center of the upper ridge over Oklahoma and Texas on Monday. And so once again, we're pretty warm, but we're right on the edge of that ridge. So that may mean just at least maybe a couple of degrees cooler than we've seen with the records we've seen over the last 4 days. The ridge does move back toward the Mississippi River Valley on Tuesday, so once again, just holding us in the hot and humid category. The ridge still there on Wednesday, but we're seeing little disturbances within that ridge, and they become a little bit more obvious on Thursday. And so I think we'll actually see a little bit better chances for some sort of isolated to scattered possibilities as we get into next week, the latter part of next week. There is now, on Friday the 10th, an opening here where the ridge is a little bit weaker. So it does look like there's some signs that the ridge will be breaking down, and that doesn't improve our chances for tremendous amount of rain, but what it does is improves our chances for having a few more showers. So we may go from isolated to scattered during the heat of the afternoon. Unfortunately, by Tuesday, the ridge is building back in. This is out in voodoo country now. The ridge is building back in around the 14th, and so we see that ridge again. But just as the GFS has been suggesting, at the end of the period, we're looking at the possibility of the ridge breaking down, and of course that would be a welcome sign for anybody in the southeastern U.S. where the heat has just been tremendous for us. Well, thanks for tuning into the Weather Xtreme video. We'll be trying to post one again tomorrow morning around 8 a.m. or so. In the meantime, I hope that you have a great Friday and enjoy whatever it is that you plan to do, but keep in mind about the heat, stay hydrated, drink lots of water. In the meantime, Godspeed.
Each day there are new stories to tell about the people who live here and the place we call home.
All of the faces that I see, all of the places close to me, they're all part of all the best things about home.
Sharing your stories on ABC 3340, Alabama's news leader.